So let's start with number one, which is the decision stage, which is the most difficult. Why is it the most difficult? Because after making the decision to make that purchase, everything else has a cadence and has a rhythm that you just have to tap into and follow. There is no new science to discover. The only science to discover is whether you are committed to the process. And there's a couple of things that you need to ask yourself to make sure that you are committed to this process, because in my experience, if you start the process and you encounter an obstacle, which sometimes you do encounter an obstacle buying a home, 50% of people will quit and have wasted their time, efforts, money in multiple inspections. If they have a home that they need to sell, they're letting down potential buyers. There's a whole host of reasons why you need to make sure that this is the right time for you. First of all, in your personal life. Secondly, you need to make sure that you have a strong enough reason to push you through to the finish line. And that's not just because, well, I've been renting for a while, I'm ready to buy. That's not a strong enough why. A strong enough why, like anything, should be something like, in my example, I want to provide my family the comfort and space that I believe they deserve, and tap into the fruits of my labor to gift us as a family that. That's my why. That can be your why. Your why can be different. Maybe your why is you want to start building an investment portfolio. Maybe you want to be the first in your family. Maybe you want to buy something brand new and live in it forever. Maybe you want to buy your starter home and then build equity and buy the forever home afterwards. Whatever your why is, discover it. Number three, you need to ask yourself, is it the right time? And if so, do you foresee yourself being in whatever home for the next 3 to 5 years? Trying to make a move within the first couple of years is usually very difficult. Why? Because you don't build enough equity to leave the home. And if the market shifts and it's not in a favorable direction, then you could actually be upside down once you sell. You could always lease a home. As a good rule of thumb, make sure you're ready to stay in that home for 3 to 5 years. And number four, is this the right market for you to buy a home in? Now, there's a lot of misconceptions as to when is a better time and when is a worse time. At the end of the day, everything I've just listed is personal to you. The only things that are outside of your control are the average prices and the interest rates in these areas that you're interested in. So you're going to, in a buyer's market, have typically more flexible pricing. Sellers are willing to wheel and deal a little bit more, but as you've seen recently, we have slightly higher than previous interest rates. 5%, 5.5% is not a terrible rate. That's just my opinion. Historically, it's not a bad thing, but we have seen 7.5% in some instances of recent memory. During a seller's market, however, you're going to see less houses come to the market, which means with the same amount or more buyers as what we have now, everyone's fighting for the few scraps, which then drives the prices up. So the question is, if in this seller's market like we had recently, you have a lower interest rate and the cost of borrowing money is lower, but you have to pay a higher price for the house, but the cost of borrowing money is higher, but you can negotiate a lower price, which one would you choose? It's entirely up to you. So that's the thing that we cannot time, is when is the right time for you. We can't time the market either. We don't know what's going to happen in 2 months from now.